name's LeRoy Acosta. Eugene Acosta was my father. The Bible says, honor your father and your mother. September 26, 1979, my 17th birthday, I enlisted in the Marine Corps. 5 days later, I was just about to board a plane bound for San Diego. This was before TSA would let you bid farewell at the gate. I looked around and I saw the other enlistees. Their proud families were close to them. I realized my family wouldn't be there to see me off. I broke my dad's heart. I decided you just have to get over it. I joined. That's it. I'm going. Still, I was overwhelmed with sadness, much as I am right now. I found solace in the men's room. When I re-entered the waiting area, it was time to line up and get on board the plane. I remember the feeling of loneliness that came over me. I was homesick, and I hadn't even left. Suddenly, like music to my ears, I heard my dad. Lee! Lee! He had arrived to see me off. There was only enough time to hug and say goodbye. He did. My dad, he was always around when I needed him. The older I get, the more I realize just how perfect my childhood was. I had a perfect childhood. My mother and father were perfect. It was wonderful here. I attribute many of those excellent memories to my father, and of course, to my mother. The time we shared was always brief. Being part of an extended family helped me to realize how lucky I was to have a father that I could share. Growing up here in Lincoln, Nebraska, with my dad around, it was always a celebration. Today, I appreciate your kind years as I honor my father and I celebrate his life. I'm aware it's written. There is none righteous, no, not one. But I'm here to tell you firsthand the positive influence that my father has had on me. Please forgive me if I sound like a babbling idiot. My father demanded of me. He demanded excellence, and he demonstrated by his own example how to live with passion. He possessed a zest to learn, and he was always very inquisitive. His spontaneity was legendary, his enthusiasm was contagious, and his empathy for others was noteworthy. He encouraged me to find something that I love to do. That way, I'd never have to work a day in my life. Eugene Acosta was a United States Air Force veteran. In 1960, the Strategic Air Command lightweight boxing champion. He was fast. He could hit hard. His rage was awesome. He had natural athletic ability. And what wasn't natural, he would make second nature by relentless practice, and even more practice. He was a golfer. Some of my best memories are conversations with him as we walked the lush, fluorescent green fairways of our city's golf courses. under a baby blue sky with cotton ball clouds. The sun beamed hot on our faces. Rich, green trees stood like guards on our path in an open-air cathedral. It was freaking awesome. He'd say things like, "Hey, son, look! See that tree over there? It looks like a..." Well, you can fill in the blanks. "Hey, that cloud over there, look! It's a, what if you..." Yeah, I got it. Eugene Acosta was an artist. He viewed the world and he shared his perspectives through the eye of an artist. Regardless of the medium he was working with, watercolor, thick oil paint, clay, wood, iron, or marble, he told me that he would often get lost in the process. His detailed view of the world was presented to me through his eyes. His epic stories would capture my mind's eye, and he honed my attention to detail. His detailed hand gestures and facial expressions enhanced his words like a paintbrush reveals lines, colors, light, and shadows on a canvas. Depending on the topic or audience, his words could be like a chisel to marble, or as hot iron, or as hot fire to iron. I would always marvel how he captured people's attention when he spoke. His vivid oratory would always ignite my imagination. My father was a catalyst for everything good in my life. That's right. As a result, I perceived the world to be a place and the people fascinating. I learned to question authority. He taught me to think critically and to be self-reliant. I learned the value of punctuality in my dealings with my father. I share his compassion for life, and I'm lucky to have known him. I feel surrounded by his confidence and his optimistic spirit. He had no doubt that I could do anything I ever set my mind to. He taught me to never, ever quit or give up on myself. My dad was a fighter, always, to his last breath. Ladies and gentlemen, I can see my father in the eyes of my children. I can see my father in the eyes of his descendants. I see him whenever I look in a mirror. I've attempted to honor and celebrate the 17 years that I was fortunate to have shared with my father. Who motivates you? I urge you to find that person and tell them today. I had the pleasure of telling my father and sharing my thoughts with him the last time that I was in town, September 2013, 2012. Recently, I shared my thoughts with my father. I always have an innate ability to make him laugh, no matter what. I encouraged him to keep breathing as I said goodbye. Now it's time for me to say goodbye to his earthly body. I'm lost in the love that he's poured over me. To honor my father's name, I selected the name Eugene as my son Jesse's middle name. Jesse Eugene Acosta. At least, I thought I did. Come to find out, my dad's name is actually Eugenio. What can you do? My dad taught me early on that life isn't fair, just deal with it, as I had mentioned earlier. And through that, I learned that life isn't scripted. Life is what happens to you when you make your best plans. I'll close with this short story. September of 1983, I was in the final weeks of Marine Corps Drill Instructor School in San Diego. That particular training day consisted of observing recruits. The day ended around 9:45 p.m. I arrived back at the DI school barracks and I was told I had a phone call at the duty desk. Who could be calling? This is before cell phones and the internet. I picked up the receiver and I heard, "Happy birthday, Lee." I'm thinking to myself, what? It's your dad. You're 21 years old today. Happy birthday. As I mentioned, my dad was always there when I needed him, even when I didn't know I needed him. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for giving me this opportunity to talk to you, and I appreciate you coming today.